Somebody asked a question in a couple of comments a couple of days ago, and he said, talk about, the things that you learned from when, you went bankrupt because of the house that you bought. I said, well, it's not that much to talk about. I didn't follow the blueprint on when you buy a house, and I did what I thought was right, but I didn't follow all the steps that was taken, or that's supposed to be taken. And these are the three things I learned from that challenge I overcame: buying a house without the proper plan. The first thing I learned was you have to do your due diligence. You have to do your due diligence. Because I said, I had a plan. I got a plan. I'm going to get my real estate license because I was watching Bill Cosby with the brownstone and the Cosby Show. I want a house just like that. But how am I going to get the house? I don't have no money. How am I going to get the house? Oh, man. And I said, I could get my real estate license because I could get paid to buy my own house. I could get paid to buy my house. And I'm saying, oh, wow, I can do that. So I went and got my real estate license. I went for 2 weeks to get the license. And then I took the test. I got the license. I went to a broker, Century 21, up in, what's that? Not Whitestone, up in the Bronx, Westchester Avenue in the Bronx. Got my license. And every time I look at houses in the brochure that they have in the office, I'm saying, oh man, where's the brownstone? Where's the brownstone in the South Bronx? Because the South Bronx is going to blow up one day. I'm going to get me a brownstone and be like Bill Cosby. No. And one day in the office, somebody was like, yeah, we got a brownstone in the Bronx. I said, I want it. And I talked to the broker. He was like, do you want it? I was like, yeah, I want it. But I had the money. He said, I didn't ask you, do you have the money? I said, do you want it? I said, yeah, I want it. He said, okay, well, I can hold it for you. Can you come up with like $2,000, $3,000? Yeah, if I can get it, yeah. When can I go look at it? Don't worry about it. I'll make sure you got it. So to make a long story short, because I don't want this video to be too long, every time I got $3,000 to put down. Every time I went to go look at the house, I couldn't get into the property. And when I did get into the property, there was only one floor I couldn't get into. I went on to the top floor, the second floor, then the walkthrough. You couldn't get in because the person wasn't home. So they say. The door was locked. They don't have the keys. So I see the property. Okay, it needs some work done to it. Okay, I understand that. I said, let's go get it. Termite inspection. No. You waive all the inspections. Okay, I didn't know no better. I'm getting a house. I'm getting a brownstone. So after a couple of weeks, put in the application for the mortgage. Oh, you're approved for the mortgage. I said, I want a 203K. Got to fix the house up. Oh, your credit's not good enough. You can't fix up the house yet. You wait a year, and after a year, you get all the payments in your mortgage payments, and your score will go up higher, and you got to have at least a 650 to get the 203K. Okay, I didn't know no better. So I said, okay, I'll wait a year. Went to closing. Still didn't look at the first floor. Went to closing, closed on the house. I got paid $3,800 a commission because I was a real estate agent who sold myself the house, and the broker got his commission. I got $3,800 to buy the house, and I put down $3,000. So I only put down, if you want to do it like that, $800 to buy a brownstone in the South Bronx. So I bought the house, went in the first floor. I tell you, went in the first floor, opened the door, I took 2 steps back. I couldn't believe I took 2 more steps back because I was like, hey, what? There was holes in the floor. The bathroom, they had a hole in the floor. You could see the basement. It looked like they didn't renovate this house since they built this house in 1910 or 1905 or whatever it was. It seemed like they didn't renovate the house since then. And come to find out, after a while, the whole house was termite infested. Termite infested. The floors was rotted, like the beams, some of the beams was rotted. They had these little water bugs, flying water bugs or roaches, whatever it is. They only found in Florida. And I found out the person that sold me the house, he lived in Florida, so somehow some of the eggs came or the roaches came from Florida. Anyway, it was a big mess. And that's why I'm saying, just because somebody can get you something, you still have to do your due diligence. Do your due diligence to find out, is this the right thing for me? Is this the right thing I should be purchasing? Is this the right thing I should be going into? That's number one. Have to do your due diligence. I didn't do my due diligence. If I would have seen that first floor and they told me I couldn't get a 2 or 3K loan to fix it up, I wouldn't have went through with the process to buy that house. The second thing that I learned and discovered, and I learned, discovered, which way you want to put it, you have to go with your heart. Go with your heart in whatever that you're doing. It could be buying a house, buying a car, finding a mate. Go with your heart. Because in my heart of hearts, I was like, I don't know if I should gut this property because I couldn't see the first floor. Yeah, he said I can have it. He's going to make sure I have the property and buy the property because he's going to do whatever he's going to do in the back end. Don't worry about it. But my heart's saying something's not right. A red flag went up in my heart. My senses went up in my heart saying something ain't right. This ain't the right way to do to buy a house. You want to buy a house is already fixed up. But if you want to fix up a house, you got to buy the property with enough finances to fix that property up. They said I couldn't get a 2 or 3 loan. That right there should have told me I shouldn't have bought the property. I didn't look in the first floor apartment. That right there should have told me don't buy it until you find out how bad the first floor is, because you know the other floors need to work. So go with your heart in whatever you're doing. And I didn't follow my heart buying that property. And the last thing that I learned in that situation, if it's getting to the point that you cannot sleep, if you cannot eat, if you're worrying so much on something that you have trying to do or something that you have done and you feel like you're stuck, cut your losses. Cut your losses and get out before it's too late. I got out before it was too late. I realized after a year, after the ceiling fell down, it could have hit me in my head. One of those plaster ceilings, because it was built in 1908. The ceiling didn't have no sheetrock. It had that plaster, the plaster of Paris. The ceiling was made of plaster of Paris. And I went up on a roof one day, thinking I'm in a Bill Cosby house. Went up on the roof, and it had asphalt roof. And I'm looking. I said, "Oh, what's this little thing right here? Little flap. Lift the flap up." Not knowing that's part of what they try to fix the roof with. And I put it back down. They paid no mind. And a couple of weeks later, there was a leak in the ceiling, and I'm looking. That could be right where I lift up the patch. Went back on the roof, sure did. And it was leaking so much, after a while, it made that plaster of Paris weaken off. I guess about a 20-foot piece of the ceiling fell on the chair that I was sitting on, like a little couch I was sitting on a couple of minutes before. I walked out, I said, bam! And the ceiling fell. All the plaster on the chair had to be at least 10, 15, 20 pounds, maybe even more. So that's why I'm saying, you have to go with your heart. You have to know when to cut your losses, and you have to do your due diligence in everything you do, because you don't want to wait too long like I did. Went bankrupt. I sold the house. I didn't even sell the house. I sold the deed of the property for a couple of $1,000 just to get out of it. And that's another story by itself. I'll tell you that later. But those are the 3 things I learned from that first property I brought in the South Bronx. Right now, that property is worth almost $900,000. I bought it for $139,000 back then. Even if it wasn't fixed up, right now, it'd still be worth over $500,000. But back then, I bought it for $139,000. They told me it's going to take almost $300,000 to fix it up. Back in 1999, it's going to take $300,000 to fix it up to code, because everything was still, the type of crazy wires and the ceiling. It was crazy. It probably would have took $250,000, but you know, the guy was telling me, oh, yo, you can do each floor for like $30,000, but you got to do the roof, got to do this, got to do that. So that's my story. For you who say you wanted me to talk about the house situation, the house in the Bronx that I brought, and you know, talk about it. I said I'm gonna talk about it and give you the 3 lessons that I learned. Those are the 3 lessons I learned when I brought that property. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. Hopefully you learn something from it. Whatever you do, even if it's on YouTube, start on YouTube. Do your due diligence to find out, is this something you should do? Because you could do it. And you know you would do it. But is this something you should do? Do your due diligence. Discover and find out everything you need to know about doing a YouTube channel. Second thing, follow your heart. Is your heart of hearts into doing a YouTube channel? Is your heart into doing this to help someone overcome their challenge, or just to take and don't help nobody? I'm giving this to you, the information that I have. And make sure that you cut your losses if you feel that you are being overtaken by the challenge. If you're being overtaken by whatever, YouTube taking too much of your time, take a break. Take a break. Shut it down. Get your bearings together and come back. Or just cut it off right then and there. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe you should just be looking at YouTube instead of being on YouTube. So those are 3 things I learned. Hopefully it's been a blessing to you. I'm getting ready to eat my lunch now. And I just like to share this with you because, like I said, I try to answer all the comments that I have. Still got comments coming in. Haven't answered yet. And I will get to all the questions you have, all the comments you have, because this is my life. This is my experience. This is my time. So until next video, God bless.